They had traveled from a place filled with dead bodies to a place filled with dying people. After making inquiries at the front desk, Decker and Milligan had been given over to the director of Dominion Hospice, Sally Palmer. The woman was shocked to hear of Anne Berkshire's death. She was just here this morning, she said as she faced them from across the desk in her small, cramped office. That's what we understand, said Decker, and it's why we are here. We saw that her hand was stamped with the name of the hospital. Yes, we do that as a part of our security procedure. Does this place need much security? Asked Milligan. Palmer looked at him sternly. Our patients are weak and on heavy medications. They can hardly protect themselves. It falls to us to do that, and we take that matter very seriously. All visitors are checked in through the front entrance. The hand stamp is easily seen, and we change the color every day. That way, at a glance, our staff knows if a visitor has been properly cleared through or not. Decker asked, did Berkshire have a family member who's a patient here? Is that why she was here this morning? Oh no, Anne was a volunteer. She would come and spend time with certain patients. Oftentimes, the patient's family may not live in the immediate area, and visits aren't so frequent. We have volunteers, carefully vetted, of course, who come in and talk to the patients, read to them, or just sit with them. It's not easy dying, and it's even harder dying alone. Did Berkshire talk to anyone in particular today? Asked Milligan. I can certainly find out. Excuse me for a moment. Palmer rose and left. Milligan took out his phone and checked messages. Dabney's wife is at the hospital with her husband. Alex says she hasn't regained Alex says he hasn't regained consciousness and probably won't. Did the wife tell them anything? She didn't know Anne Berkshire and was pretty sure her husband didn't either. She also knew nothing about her husband's business and had no idea why he would do what he did. But Alex texted again. Mrs. Dabney said her husband had taken an unexplained trip about a month ago and that he didn't seem the same afterwards. Not the same how? Different mood apparently, and he wouldn't tell her where he went. Okay. Milligan looked around the small office. Do you really think we are going to get a lead from this place? People are killed by strangers, but most people know the one who kills them. Well, that's always comforting, said Milligan dully. The men lapsed into silence until Palmer returned a few minutes later. She met with three patients early this morning: Dorothy Whiters, Joey Scott, and Albert Drews. Were they people she would normally visit? Yes. You said she came in early this morning. Did she usually come in at that time? Well, no. Come to think of it, she usually came in around noon. Our patients are generally more alert then. Can we speak with them? Let's take a small break before we go further. Welcome back after the break. Let's continue reading. Palmer looked taken aback. I'm not sure what they can tell you. They are very ill and weak. Decker rose. I appreciate that, but Anne Berkshire was murdered this morning, and it's our job to find out why. And if she came here at an unusual time shortly before she went down killed, then we have to run that possible lead down. I hope you can understand that. Milligan added quickly, we'll be as gentle as possible. Do you have to tell them that Anne was killed? That will be extremely upsetting for them. Milligan said, we'll do our best to avoid that. Decker said nothing. His eyes were already on the hallway. Dorothy Withers was in her late 80s, frail and shrunken in the last bed she would occupy. Because of patient confidentiality, Palmer had not told them what specific illness she might have. She left them in the doorway and walked back to her office. Decker stood in the doorway and looked around at the small, sparsely furnished space. You okay? Said Milligan in a low voice. Decker was not okay, not really. What he was seeing here wasn't the flash of electric blue he associated with death, but rather navy blue. That was a first for him. But when he looked at the terminally ill Witters, he could understand why. Near death was apparently represented in his mind simply by another shade of blue. Well, that is interesting. My altered mind keeps throwing me curves. He didn't want to be here when Witters died because he didn't want the Navy to abruptly change to electric blue. I'm good, he finally said. He walked into the room, pulled up a chair, and sat next to the bed. Milligan stood next to him. Mrs. Witters, I'm Amos Decker, and this is Todd Milligan. We are here to talk to you about Anne Berkshire. She was in to see you this morning. We understand? Witters looked at him from deeply sunken eyes. Her skin was a pale grey, her eyes watery, and her breathing shallow. Decker could see the port near her clavicle where her pain meds were administered. Welcome back after the break. Anne was here, she said slowly. I was surprised because it was earlier than usual. Do you remember what you talked about? Who are you? Decker was about to take out his creds when Milligan stopped him. Milligan said, "We are friends of Anne's. She asked us to stop in today because she wanted to come back and keep talking to you, but then found out she couldn't make it." The watery eyes turned to alarm. Is she? Is she alright? She's not sick, is she? She's no she's feeling no pain at all. Decker quite truthfully. He was counting on the fact that whatever meds the woman was on would slow her mental processes somewhere. Otherwise, Witters might figure out that nothing they were saying made much sense. Oh well, it was just the usual things, whether a book she was reading and telling me about my cat. Your cat? Sunny's dead now. Oh, it's been 10 years if it's been a day. But Anne liked cats. Let's continue after the break. Sunny's dead now. Oh, it's been 10 years if it's been a day. But Anne liked cats. So nothing other than that? Asked Decker. No, not that I recall. She wasn't here that long. Did she seem okay to you? Nothing out of sorts? Her voice grew more strident. Are you sure she's all right? Why are you here asking these questions? I might be dying, but I'm not stupid. Decker saw the watery eyes turn to flint before flickering out again. Well, if you have to know the truth, the fact is, Milligan cut in. We know you are not stupid, Mrs. Witters. As my colleague was about to say, the fact is, Anne fell down and hit her head today. She'll be fine, but she's got short term amnesia and she needs to remember the passcode to her phone and her apartment's alarm system and her computer. She sent us here to find out what she was talking about to people so that we can tell her and maybe jog her memory. The doctor said that might do it. How will Mrs. Witters respond? We shall find out in the next episode, and let's continue today's agenda. As you all know, the Royal Rumble event is an important time as far as the professional wrestling is concerned. The Royal Rumble event, which is held every year in the month of January, will be held in on 31st January 2021 in the US, but Indian time it will be 5:30 a.m. on the 1st of February, and the field is getting crowded day by day as each and every wrestler has announced their intention to take part in this year's Royal Rumble and not only participate but go on to win it. Last year's winner, Drew McIntyre, will face Goldberg at the Royal Rumble event. And that's the most interesting part because the way they started this strange Goldberg Drew McIntyre rivalry was something that should be focused upon because Goldberg returning almost 11 months after his previous match at WrestleMania, in which he lost the Universal Championship to Braun Strowman, and now he wants to fulfill his destiny by winning the World Championship as well, which means that they hold the World Championship higher than the WWE Universal Championship. Well, that depends on how the wrestler and how the officials look at it. So, a Goldberg Drew McIntyre match. Goldberg, who was the best in his prime, that is almost 15 to 20 years ago. Drew McIntyre, who is looking to seal his legacy as far as being a legend is concerned, and that 20 years from now, when Drew McIntyre is called by the Raw and SmackDown brands, he will be coming on as a legend and he will be given the same kind of respect which the retired and the semi retired wrestlers in the form of Goldberg get. 20 years from now, if the likes of Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, and all their contemporaries enter the arena as special guests, they might get the same applause as the audience, and the commentators show their excitement by giving to the current retired and semi retired legends in Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Goldberg, and all the other contemporaries. But let's focus first on the Goldberg Drew McIntyre match. As I said before, Drew McIntyre has faced all opponents, each and every kind of opponents, and most of them are his contemporaries who have been with him, who were there when he debuted in this profession. But Goldberg is one such wrestler whom he hasn't faced, and when Goldberg was in his prime, Drew McIntyre still hadn't made his debut in this particular company. So this match is mouth-watering, and this match's result will also influence the main event at WrestleMania. Whoever wins this match between Goldberg and Drew McIntyre, which is difficult to say, it's too close to call because it's Spear versus Jackhammer versus Claymore kick. So whoever wins the match between Goldberg and Drew McIntyre, they will face the winner of the Royal Rumble event, which I said is already crowded with various stars who have been here, most of them looking to win that second or third Royal Rumble event. And as it always happens in this particular event, retired, semi retired wrestlers make a comeback just as Edge did last year, just as it was done by MVP. So, will we see a surprise factor this year? Well, they have kept the cards close to their chest. Only the current wrestlers who are active have announced their intention to participate in the Royal Rumble event, and if there are any surprises, well, that's being kept close to their chest as far as the WWE is concerned. Well, there is another interesting match for the Universal Championship. Roman Reigns has found himself a very interesting opponent. Who is that opponent? Let's find out after the break. So, who is that opponent whom Roman Reigns will face and defend his Universal Championship. It's not an active wrestler, it's not a retired or semi retired wrestler. In fact, it's from the exact opposite domain. It's a WWE official, one of the many general managers that Raw and SmackDown have currently. It's Adam Pearce, the who is currently playing the role of a general manager, which means he decides the matches, he makes the cards, and he announces matches which often result in the opponent winning or losing their title or deciding rematches. And how did this come about? When Adam Pearce announced a gauntlet match, and the winner of that match would face Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. Reigns and his council, as per the script, weren't pleased. So they decided that Adam Pearce would induct himself in the match. After Shinsuke Nakamura won the gauntlet match, one thought Nakamura was going to be the opponent for Roman Reigns, but no. Reigns and his associates, companions had other plans. They inducted Adam Pearce into this particular match, and after taking advantage of the no disqualification situation, they made sure that Adam Pearce, the WWE official who was a retired wrestler who hadn't been an active wrestler for the past 7 years, has now inducted himself as an opponent for Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble event for the Universal Championship. Now, it's a very interesting situation. This could be Roman Reigns' easiest opponent against an individual who hasn't been quite active, who is happy donning the suit and being the general manager, and the individual who is behind the scenes taking decisions which influences wrestlers' championship opportunities. Or it could backfire as far as Roman Reigns and his associates and companions are concerned, and Adam Pearce may go on to win the Universal Championship. As far as I know, I don't know. But now the question is, will the winner of the Royal Rumble, whoever wins it, be decided by the brand situation? For example, if a wrestler from the Raw brand wins, will they face either Goldberg or Drew McIntyre at the main event, or will they choose the Universal Championship, which means they will face either Adam Pearce, which is a 5% chance, and Roman Reigns, which is a 95% chance, looking at how the two individuals have been active in their wrestling careers. Now that's very interesting. If a member from SmackDown wins it, they will face the Universal Championship. If a member from Raw wins it, they may face the WWE World Champion. Well, that depends how the WWE wants to create the sensation as far as this event is concerned. Either way, the Royal Rumble event, with over 30 male and female wrestlers and former semi retired, retired wrestlers, and a couple of surprise packages, as it always happens, it is a recurring event that a particular individual might surprise you, somebody who had retired for good, who was happy being a non active wrestler and being a coach or taking other responsibilities. But is there a surprise factor in hand? Well, so far they have kept all this close to their chest. It depends on how they want to shape up this year's WrestleMania. Either way, it will be a very interesting event. So when the event happens, I will bring my analysis to you live on the 3rd of February 2021. Now let's end this episode by singing a song. But before that, let's take a short break. The song for tonight's episode is We Will Rock You by Queen. But you're a boy, make a big noise playing in the street, gonna be a big man someday. You got mud on your face, you big disgrace, kicking your can all over the place, singing, we will rock you. We will rock you. But you're a young man, hard man, shouting in the street, gonna take on the world someday. You got blood on your face, you big disgrace, waving your banner all over the place. We will rock you. We will rock you. But you're old man, poor man, pleading with your eyes, gonna make you some peace someday. You got mud on your face, big disgrace. Somebody better put your back on into your place. We will rock you. Everybody, we will rock you. Thank you so much. This ends episode number 312 on the 13th of January 2021.